Well, Mark, next up, excuse me, where do you stand on spitting?
Do you know what? Footballers do stupid things. I mean, that for a professional footballer getting paid gazillions a year.
1 million a year.
Whatever.
By the way, we're talking about Jamie Carragher, in case you missed it, who gobbed at a rival fan after Liverpool lost to Manchester United at the weekend, and is now suspended.
A little bit of goading provokes someone where they must have been seeing that they were being filmed with someone with a camera next to them in the car, not just spat, but actually all the internal body fluids was thrown at the opposite car. Where does it get? You've had a potentially a great career. You're a very good pundit.
You're a pundit.
Yeah, but even so, you're a very good pundit. You've got a great relationship with Sky, and you do so. There is a detachment from these people to recognise that their fame or their position has to be protected.
I think the issue is this. Look, he seems like a decent guy. It was definitely a moment of madness. The question is what does Sky do about it? Is it a moment of madness that should end his £1 million a year TV career as a TV pundit? I mean, there's another issue to my mind is why does somebody get paid £1 million a year to say play the diagonal ball, good save, great shot? Why do you get £1 million a year from that? He's not going to get £1 million a year from anyone else to do that. So Sky are crazy to pay him that much in the first place. Secondly, I'd like to ask, how did he get that much gob in his mouth? I mean, it was like a thunderstorm coming out of his mouth. Thirdly, I feel sorry for the poor 14-year-old girl whose face it ended up all over because he was gobbing at someone else. She was collateral damage. But we have a situation where a prominent television star has gobbed in the face of a 14-year-old girl and made her cry. Do Sky sack him? He's currently, of course, suspended while they make inquiries. But it's a straight question. Should he be sacked or should he be forgiven?
Well, look, the situation with Sky, as we've seen in the past, you get 2 strikes and then you're out. If we go back to Andy Gray, and actually Andy Gray...
So what's the message to Jamie Carragher? If you gob at anybody at any more times, you're going to be fired, yeah?
Well, I just think that there can't, the amount of sort of the boys' club, the men's club of ex-footballers who become pundits on BT and BBC and Sky are the same look. They were pretty awful players at their prime. Thierry Henry is another classic example who says absolutely nothing. The glorious Frank Lampard does have something to say, and also does Gary Neville, because somehow.
Well, he should stick to punditry rather than managing football teams, because
he's learnt that lesson.
No bloody good at that, is he?
He's learnt that lesson. But there seems to be, a lack of. There should be a lot of choice. There's a lot of ex-players out there who could do Jamie Carragher's job.
So you're saying they should get rid of him? I think there are problems. Practical problems with keeping him. I'm all for forgiving people, giving them a second chance, but there are things, that you can't just make that a constant principle because, most murders are committed in a moment of madness. We don't say, well, it was only a moment of madness, so you're forgiven. You go to jail for the rest of your life. So what the question is was this disgusting thing that Jamie Carragher did beyond the pale? Should it end his ludicrously overpaid career? I know what I'd do with Sky. I'd just say to him, right, 50,000 a year, and you're lucky you're getting back on.
Yeah, they could do that. We've forgotten that the return of the pundits. Andy Townsend, who was involved with some of the nefarious ticket scam around the World Cup, lost his job on ITV, but he turns back up again. So are we saying maybe there isn't a huge reservoir of punditry talent who can talk eloquently about a game?
Personally,
maybe they don't exist.
Personally, I think punditry talent is an inherently absurd phrase. It's just saying, yeah, good pass, use the flanks, yeah, great save. Oh, can I have £1 million a year? It's ridiculous. Also, I'm a massive football fan. Nothing bores me more than listening to those old tits droning on about the diagonal ball. They were good footballers. They're not particularly good broadcasters. Sky have invested lots of effort, and they believe that Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are the magic of Monday Night Football. I've got bad news for them, they're not. But that's that Sky's problem, is they think they've got a brilliant double act here, and that Jamie Carragher's act of madness may have ruined it. There are practical issues as well. If he comes back, suppose there's a spitting incident on the pitch.
Good point.
Every time,
Good point.
Every time he gets angry, the newspapers will headline, Jamie gets spitting mad. So this will haunt him for the rest of his career. The question is can Sky live with that? Also, he is a role model, hate that phrase, but kids look up to him. Are they going to forgive him and say it's okay to spit in people's faces? Kids?
I don't agree, Kev. I don't think kids look up to pundits.
Oh, they look up to footballers.
But he's not a footballer.
I look up to footballers. I don't look up to
half the kids
pundits.
watching it now don't even remember Jamie Carragher's career because they're focused on the now, what's happening now.
Okay, which makes him even more susceptible to being sacked.
But they're not groomed to be role models. No, they're groomed to make their agents, a lot of money. The 20%. They are groomed to be fantastic on the pitch to get it, but a footballer's career is so fleeting, and actually no one thinks about where they start, where they go to post footballer. In the old days, you don't have a sports shop or be a publican.
Well, but if you've been a Premiership football, trust me, you're on 200 grand a year pension. You don't have to worry about anything for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but that's not about money. It's about purpose. You're playing to adoring fans all over the world.
The point. So the real issue here, though, is what did spitting in the face of a 14-year-old girl, this sort of ocean of saliva that came out of his mouth. Is that the end of? It's an impressive amount of gob. Is that the end of the road? Sky, of course, suspended him while inquiries are made. We will be talking to Jamie. It's clear what they want to do. They want to kick it into the long grass and let him slope back in a couple of months. The question is are we, the public, going to allow them to do it? My instinct is, I think that some things are beyond the red line, and I think he should be shown the red card, frankly.
I agree.
So that's it, Jamie.
We've agreed on something,
That's
Kevin.
it, Jamie. You're off.
We've agreed.
Get off the field.
We've agreed. And he's an ex-Liverpool player, so
yeah,
I don't think any ex-Liverpool.
That's why we really want to get rid of him, because he played for Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely.